What do you think it is? Is it ugly? Let me show you some transitions. Look at those transitions. I cannot call this ugly. Better, it is beautiful and quite sexy. I can easily move this window over here. Let me show you the example. See, it is here. And what if I pull back this one to the previous workspace? It's so much easy. What do you think? Is it GNOME, KDE Plasma, or Hyperland? Before I continue, let me tell you this. This is and why people use Hyperland. The first point is stunning visual animations. You can achieve this in any platform. Dynamic tiling, as already I have shown. Wayland native. Do I say something? See, this is Wayland. Even the login manager is also Wayland. That means it is not using the old X11 as display server. Complete customization. That is called rising. Rising your own operating system. Didn't I tell you before? Like I had made a operating system completely as I like. And what I used KDE Plasma. So it is also not right. I'm not sure why no one is focusing on the performance part. See, if I show over here, 2% CPU usage is there. And I have opened a lot of applications, including Google Chrome. As you can see, Google Chrome is here. Go Plays, it is taking around 400 MB. Chrome, I'm not sure. It must be over few GB. And what about Kitty? It is taking 190 MB. There was a time when Wayland hype train was going. KDE, GNOME is riding those trains. In fact, GNOME started this in early 2016. And 2 years ago, KDE also providing their whole display management, even the login management system using Wayland. If I search, what about the market share? That means how many people are using Hyperland? 26%. But there is a catch. Among enthusiastic Linux users, that means it is not about 26% of the whole Linux users. Even 0.1% Linux users are not on the desktop. They use Linux as their smartphone in Android and they use the servers. Less than 1% users are using Linux as their desktop operating system. So within those desktop operating systems, less than 0.1% are using Hyperland as their desktop management is concerned. As you see, performance, fully GPU accelerated through OpenGPL, through OpenGL, though OpenGL is obsolete nowadays. Configuration, what you can say, configuring Hyperland is much easier than configuring KDE or GNOME as per your requirement. I will show all those configurations and applications later on. Before that, let me show you pro and cons of Hyperland. Fluid animations out of the box. Yes, you don't have to configure anything to get animations like window sliding, popping up a new window, or anything that moves on the screen. And it is a keyboard centric workflow. What if I don't like IJKL and I like the keyboard arrow to move around? Yes, you also can do that. That is also a positive thing. So configurability I take, performance still not sure. As previously I have installed more than 20 times and tried to configure those things. Eventually all those breaks due to arch dependency or something else. Intuitive workspace. The intuitiveness you can configure as your own taste. So this point I will also not consider this point. Initial setup. Yes, let's discuss those cons. Those are the reason why normal desktop Linux users do not use Hyperland. The initial setup is very tedious. Building a polished, stable daily driver often requires hours of tweaking and reading Hyperland wiki. I will show those points, like why those are so much tedious work. Application issues, especially those scaling issues, almost fixed now. Just yesterday I have installed one of my system with Hyperland and those scaling issues are nearly zero. Bleeding edge instability. What does it mean? It means whenever a Arch package arrives at Arch package center, they just release it. And what you do pacman update and your configuration breaks, your system breaks. What are the things breaks? I'm not sure. Advanced color management. I have no idea about that, though I can see a video. We'll take a look. Desktop environment or window management. Okay, it is asking me question. Another main topic I'm interested, That is because BSD supports Wayland. All of my secure systems, those are connected to the internet. That means even I am broadcasting this video using a BSD system. I don't trust Windows, I don't trust Mac. Even for the Linux, if I have built using all those source code on my system, then it is a matter of taking all burdens on my own shoulder. But I don't want to rely on others. And for BSD, it is very much easy to build the full operating system at once. It is not like Linux. You build the kernel, you build the bootloader, you build the UI, each and everything by your hand, and all those tedious sometimes breaks. So it is very easy to use BSD, especially the free BSD and NetBSD. By the way, I use OpenBSD's SSH package in each and every system I have. I don't trust any other SSH application. I know Windows have some kind of weird SSH application. My son used to use on his gaming setup, but I don't prefer those things. Some technical idea we must have, like how Wayland under the hood works, because your Hyperland is based on Wayland. If any changes happens on Wayland, you'll have to adjust and modify your Hyperland profile and configuration accordingly. So let's try to understand how Hyperland works with Wayland and how Wayland talks to the kernel or display driver itself. It says those are like inter-process communication tools over Unix domain, blah blah blah, Unix domain socket, Wayland 0. Like those are not the words I am trying to search. Is this thing DRM KMS, kernel mode settings. DRM and KMS, those two things combined makes your UI display works simultaneously and smoothly. And nowadays Linux, what it does, it integrates DRM and KMS into the kernel itself. So it is easier to build any kind of window management software. But you lost one thing, that is called modularity. It would be much better if the Linux kernel was separate and it was attached like a Lego. Like we already lost various tools, even the network stack, all are combined into systemd. I cannot do anything alone to fight against systemd. I'm not clever enough. I don't have time enough. What I have done Hyperland config in one system so that I can take those pre-made configurations and use on other systems. Like those configurations take several hours. At least for me, it took several hours. I'm not sure if any superhuman or chat developer can do it in few minutes, but it took several hours to complete those things. Another thing is Weber. Like on this system, on my main monitor, I am having a taskbar, which is provided by the KDE. Whatever the tweaking needs, I can do by simply right clicking or drag click. Those are more than enough to do anything I need. If I need more, I can configure using some configuration files. That's it. But for this case, I will need Weber configurations. What are the things I need? First time when I understood like it use CSS, JSON-C and scripts like simple bash scripts along with some Python scripts. By the way, this Python script was very helpful for the media things. Like what if you are playing some audio or YouTube or something else and you want to manage like next, fast forward, those kind of things from the Weber itself. And what if you want to integrate a weather widget on the Weber? You can do by simple Python scripts. You can go through those Python scripts, like this is a weather one. So I was thinking like it would be much easier if I have those things, and AI helped me a lot to write those things. That means it was much less time consuming. Okay, now the final question, what do I do to install Hyperland on this system so that I can use KDE alongside Hyperland? I am using GoPOS, which is capable to run Nix package manager along with the Pacman package manager. That means it is a hybrid system. If you need anything on the base operating system to do, you use Pacman. And if you need something else, like I need a new Go compiler, what I will use to take or download or use that Go compiler, I will use Nix Nix package manager. So my system remains stable. I know there are some crazy people, they say like I'm using Arch from past 10 years and the system never breaks. What my response would be like, you have not installed a lot of application and tools having a lot of interdependency. That is the reason why your system did not break. My system breaks if I use only Pacman. That is because I use a lot of system tools along with a lot of build tools. You can't even imagine like having Windows Builder on Linux system, like Mac OS Swift on Linux system. Yes, you can do those things on Linux itself because I don't trust Windows or Mac to do my own work. That is the reason why I use Linux to even develop some Windows or Mac related softwares, even Android related softwares. So things break on my system. That is the reason why my base system remains always the same. I have a bootable ISO of Gopi Linux and I use all of the system, especially not facing the internet. Still, I am not very much convinced to use my operating system to connect to the internet. Each and every device which is connected on my home office or on my past office, all are connected by any kind of BSD variants. First preference is NetBSD, the second preference is OpenBSD, and the third preference is using FreeBSD. That is only for the desktop. Like if you consider BSD along with desktop configuration, you must have FreeBSD. It caters all those things, especially the Beehive. Sometimes you need some application that will only work on the Linux system. That is the reason why I use FreeBSD along with Beehive. Those are the things I need. First, what is the thing I need? I need some Nix package manager to install some packages like AWW. It was previously called SWWW. Now it is AWW. Rofi. What Rofi does, it opens some kind of modal like things. Weber. What is Weber? Weber, it is a like floating bar. You can switch on off and you can have widgets and icons all over in one place. Policy kit GNOME. It use GNOME's policy kit manager. Brightness CTL, like if you want to control your monitor or laptop's brightness. Wire plumber for sound things. Let me install those things first. And this is a simplest Hyperland configuration you can have. By the way, I have improvised this one and made this configuration. It is quite big, especially handling my internal monitor display along with this external display. Later, when I upgraded the Hyperland version, what I understood, like nowadays Hyperland also supports Lua. That means all those Vim users will also be benefited having a similar language. Lua is a very great language. Some of the games nowadays also use Lua. My son likes Lua, my daughter likes Lua. Lua seems very good and easy to understand. Okay, all those installations is done. It's time to reboot and take a look how great it looks. The Wayland, of course. As you see, it is SDM, that means the KDE version, but I have the option to choose Plasma Wayland or Hyperland. See, Plasma also use Wayland, but I want to use Hyperland using Plasma. But I want to use Hyperland using Wayland. Now proceed with the login screen. Let me see how nice and cool it see. I was wondered how cool it looks on my laptop screen, but for the sake of this wallpaper, it do not look very cool. Let me show you my internal laptop screen by using simple screenshot. I have taken the screenshot. Now fire up Dolphin. What if I paste clipboard content and open with Google Chrome? How do I put this right side window over another workspace? I'll have to just move it over right side and automatically this becomes full screen. See how good it looks on my main screen. Immediately I started noticing some errors, like Google Chrome is providing some warning about unsafe web GPU. Okay, we'll take a look later on. So now I have multiple screens, that means workspaces. I can have multiple window in single workspace and it looks very great. I would say it is much better than the KDE because I want the maximum screen to work for me. Like I would be be able to grab all my screen. Like what if I type super B, the bar goes away. That means I get the full screen to work with. Especially the KDE terminal is looking so good. And let me put the KDE on the right side. Yes, now it feels so great to have all the workable workspace only for me. What about transition animation? And the transition animation feels much greater than KDE. But my ultimate question remains the same. Does it provide the maximum performance? Yes, it provides maximum performance. I have opened multiple application systems. Even Google Chrome is opened. Only 1.4 gigabit of RAM is being used. 0 to 1% CPU is being used. What else do I expect? What if I need the Weber? Control Super B. And look how detailed it shows the temperature. CPU package, it is only dual core CPU, like my 10-year-old laptop. It is time to replace. I'm sure someone will donate some so that I can get one. What about CPU usage? It is around 2%. What about RAM? Only 1.4%, and the CPU temperature seems very decent. So finally, I am happy with this installation, and the installation was easy only that because of those two repositories I have created yesterday. So if you find those type of repository even better than me, or if you find my repository, you can use those configuration to have exactly like this desktop experience. Yesterday I was working on a project. Initially I named as UTF browser or viewer. Later on I found they have renamed it as Unicode Hub. This is the website. I just vibe coded and sold it around 20,000 Paisa. What it does, it can browse all those glyph icons or Unicode icons, whatever you want to say, and it is quite capable enough to generate those icons as PNG or SVG. If you are interested, you can see that live video stream and you can implement your own whatever you want to do. What do I do tomorrow? What ride you want for the next season? Let me know.